Good evening, everybody. As mentioned, my name is Philip Anderson. I'm the Transformation Director for our retirement division. So Legal & General is actually one of the top employers in Brighton and Hove. I think we're the third by number. We've got two large buildings out by Hove City Park, which a lot of people aren't even really aware of that we're out there, let alone the sort of thing that we do. So we're a financial services company. We deal in insurance, annuities, pensions and other products. Strong sense of purpose in the community. Strong sense of purpose towards our customers, and a great brand, a well-established brand, but with strong digital aspirations. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what a career in digital would mean to me as the Transformation Director at L&G, which hopefully you'll find useful. It's not about CV advice, it's not about what to say in an interview or those kind of practical things. Let's take it up a level and think about this more holistically in terms of digital as a career concept. Hopefully that makes sense. This is me, as you may have noticed, in a slightly less leery jacket. The point of this slide really is just to demonstrate to you all that I wouldn't be what I would call traditionally digital. So I don't have a background in technology, I don't have a background in website design or any of those kind of skills. I've never been a chief information officer and that kind of stuff. I started my career journey as a retail manager when I left school, moved into the telecoms world managing contact centres before I moved into financial services. However, what I would suggest is that I hopefully fit the mould of what a digital person might look and feel like if they're not strictly a technical person, but in terms of the way that they think. So I'll talk a little bit more about that now. You can slightly strange animation here, it should go in another order, don't worry. I went to the Gartner Digital Workplace Summit a couple of weeks ago, and they intrigued me with a few facts. So, in the modern workplace, workers now use at least 4 different collaboration tools, and for many places it's going to be more. So things like Sway, Microsoft Teams, Skype for Business, Outlook, all those sorts of tools where you collaborate with one another, and the number of tools that people are working with is only going to increase. By 2022, Gartner estimate that workers will use at least 5 devices in the workplace. So that could be a laptop, smartphone, tablet, and other stuff that will have been invented by then that we don't know that we need, that we're going to know that we need at that time. Today's when you go into work, you log on to a PC and that's the only device that you use, they're gone. It's a versatile workplace and we need to be able to really get to grips with that new use of devices. Also by 2027, Gartner estimate that freelancers will make up the majority of the workforce. So the traditional career plan and the career pathway where you get a job and you get promoted and you earn your pension, etc., that's going to change and it's going to evolve. As we move into the gig economy, the sorts of things that employers are going to look for is going to be very different. And I think that's really crucial for anybody who's looking to establish a career in digital now. And finally, 75% of the workforce by 2030 will be made up of millennials. Hate that term, I don't like to label groups of people, but it's people who were born with technology, who were absolutely immersed in it from when they started to play with it as a child, and therefore it's second nature to them. Some really important facts about the future of the workforce, and therefore the sort of talent that companies like mine are going to need to attract. So we're all going to need to focus on new ways of working and thinking. So what do I mean by that? Well, there's bad work. There's bad work out there. And what bad work means is the stuff that everybody hates doing. Rocky little processes, really paper-based, manual kind of stuff, things where you're just ticking a box for the sake of it because it's always been done. And trust me, in big corporates there's plenty of that. I'm sure even in some new startups there's some of that building up. There's plenty of bad work out there. There's good work as well. So this is the stuff where you're in your comfort zone, you're in your sweet spot. You might be managing a project, you might be delivering something for a customer, you might be working with stakeholders. Sort of stuff where you go home and you think, did a good job today, delivered some good results, earned my salary. And then there's great work. So the great work is when you inspire some change, when you see a problem that no one else can see and you find a solution for it, be it a digital one, a technology one, or a process one. Great work is the kind of stuff that really changes the workplace fundamentally. So if I were to ask everybody in this room, which of these is the enemy of great work, what would you say? Bad work. Wrong. It's good work. No one wants to do bad work. It's really easy to persuade people to stop doing bad work. It's really easy to persuade them to automate it. It's really hard to move people out of their comfort zone on the stuff they feel good about doing and to get them to focus on the great work. And for careers in digital, you've got to demonstrate that you're the kind of person that's not satisfied with the good work, but continually wants to do great work. So digital is the answer, but what do we mean by digital? Well, the definition of digital for Legal & General is something we've been doing a lot of work on, and we've defined it as such. So it's about new ways of working, leadership, and structuring the organisation, enabled by digital tools and the organisational culture that grows out of these. So clearly digital tools is a key part of digital, but it's not the only part of digital. And if you're looking to build a career in digital, all of these things are important. It's about being able to help people change the way that they work. It's about changing the way that you work. It's about being adaptable. It's about being flexible. It's thinking about the implications of what you're doing as opposed to a very transactional piece of work. And if anyone was to ask me what sort of people are you looking for at L&G that meet this definition, this is exactly the definition that I would use and talk about with them. So it's not just technology, it's not about website design, it's not about coding, those are all elements of it. This is the broad picture of digital. So when it comes to digital, are we focusing on the right things? Well, let me tell you a fact from the CNBC website for April 2018. Scientists have taken 3 years to develop 2 robotic arms that can assemble IKEA flat-pack furniture in just 20 minutes. How cool is that? That's quite an achievement, but a complete waste of time. Why would you invest that amount of time and that amount of effort and that amount of cost to do something that a robot is now doing in roughly the same time that human beings did it before? And there's 3 human beings that are quite good at it and that don't mind doing it, and it could fall into the good work. How does it take it from bad to great? So this strikes me as a bit of a vanity project, and it kind of shows that robotics, AI, automation are all hugely powerful, but they need to be directed at the right things. Assembling an IKEA chair in that period of time, I don't know if that's a good definition of digital. Are we imprisoned by prior experiences? So the question that I'm asking here is around whether people are making assumptions around what people need in the future. So I'll ask a question to the audience again. We've got 2 people here. Obviously we've got an older lady. We've got a younger guy here. Probably don't need to point that out, but I will do anyway. So over on the right-hand side, you've got one of those bank readers that you use to validate your bank account access when you're at home, so you can prove that you're not a scammer, etc. So, as a show of hands, please, who thinks that this person would struggle with using that more than that person? Show of hands. Okay, that's a fair majority. In fact, research has shown that actually this person might struggle with that more than that person. And you're probably thinking, are you mad? Well, what the research showed is that this person will sit down with a cup of tea and a notebook, totally undistracted. They'll think about what they're doing. They'll learn what to do with the reader. They'll know which buttons to press. They'll do it on a Friday afternoon just before Sons and Daughters is on, cliche. But they'll do it properly, and they won't be stressed out by it, and they won't make mistakes. This guy will get a tweet. He'll look at Instagram. He'll be distracted. He'll be messing around on his laptop. He'll be doing other things, and he'll make a mistake, and he'll get frustrated with it, and he'll throw it out the window. So your prior experiences of perhaps older people may lead you down a path that thinks that this kind of solution is not right for them, but that's not necessarily true. And for me, about building a career in digital is the ability to challenge those previous perceptions. It's about unasking the questions that have been asked before, so you don't come up with the same answer all the time. If you want a career in digital, my advice to you would be to be able to demonstrate that you can do that and that you're not locked into that. So what does this mean for you? Well, it could mean many things, but my advice, a few bullets just for you. So employers are thirsty for your talent. There are huge opportunities out there. You need to go out and find them, but bear in mind some of the high-level points I've made around what a digital career could mean to you. Learn to unask the questions. Don't fall foul of people's prior beliefs or experiences. Challenge things. Employers really want people that are not willing to go with the status quo. Hypothesize and develop proof of concept thinking. So if you've got an idea, what's the quickest way to test it? The inventors of the Dropbox solution, they didn't go through a really complicated technical trial. They sent out an email to 1,000 people to see who might be interested. Within 24 hours, 100,000 people had signed up and said, yeah, sign me up, I want this. They knew they were onto something. It was a free way to test the idea, and it didn't take months. Match technology to a problem and not the other way around. This is a big challenge for organisations currently. So someone will say blockchain. Blockchain's an amazing thing. Blockchain can change the world. So what they'll do is they'll try and find ways in the business to use blockchain. Might not be the right solution for the problem. So match the technology to the problem. Work out what it is that needs to change and then find a technological solution for it. And finally, invest in your learning and development. So think about what's coming next and after that. So So a huge skills gap in large corporations at the moment is the ability to horizon scan. Look at the threat that's coming around the corner next and the one after that, and anticipate it and work for solutions to that. So we'll talk about AI and robotics, and that's now. The next challenge is going to be things like masterbots and superbots, using technology in a way that it becomes your peer in the workplace and not being threatened by that as opposed to a tool. People who can horizon scan and show that interest in their development, they're the sorts of people who will have an amazing digital career. And if you can combine all of those points, well, then I would suggest that you can get a great digital career. So I hope that's been a little bit useful for you. I'll be hanging around later on as well, just to talk to anybody who's particularly interested in anything specific that I've talked about today. If you are interested in some of the opportunities that might exist at Legal & General, the website address is there. You can find it very easily through Google search as well. Okay, thanks very much.